Imagine waking up in total darkness. The air is freezing. Every breath burns your lungs. And the walls around you are made of steel. You're not dreaming. You're trapped. And no one knows where you are. This is the true story of Lisa Jennings, a 29-year-old woman from Detroit, Michigan, who endured one of the most horrific ordeals imaginable. For 8 unrelenting days, Lisa was held captive inside a locked commercial freezer by a man she once trusted. Starving, freezing, and alone, she refused to give up hope. How did she get there? Who put her there? And how in the world did she survive? This is not just a story of horror. It's a story of unimaginable willpower, survival against all odds, and the darkness that hides in plain sight. Subscribe to True Crime Hub for more shocking survival stories, chilling mysteries, and twisted truths from the darkest corners of human behavior. Now, let's begin. Lisa Jennings was known for her resilience. Raised by a single mother in a tough Detroit neighborhood, she had worked hard to build a life of stability. At 29, she was juggling 2 jobs, one as a waitress at a downtown diner and another at a community center mentoring at-risk youth. She wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. That changed on the night of January 4th, 2019. Lisa finished her evening shift at the diner and texted her best friend, Monique, saying she was grabbing a late-night drink with someone she had recently started seeing, Marcus Tillman. Marcus was charming. He was also mysterious. A new face in town who claimed to be a small-time music producer. Marcus had met Lisa at the community center weeks earlier. He showed interest in her work, asked thoughtful questions, and knew just how to make her laugh. But behind his smile was a secret far more dangerous than Lisa could imagine. She never came home that night. When Lisa failed to show up for her shift the next morning, Monique grew worried. Calls went unanswered. Messages were left on read. By January 6th, her mother filed a missing person report. Lisa Jennings had vanished without a trace. The Detroit Police Department initially treated Lisa's disappearance as a routine missing person case. But within days, it escalated. Flyers were printed. Her story made local news. A reward was posted. Friends and family hit the streets. They knocked on doors, retraced her last known steps. All fingers pointed to one person, Marcus Tillman. But there was a problem. Marcus didn't exist. The name, the social media, the contact info, all fake. He had used burner phones, photos stolen from an out-of-state man's Facebook page, and a car registered under a different alias. The trail went cold. What no one knew was that Lisa was alive, barely. Lisa awoke in complete darkness. Her head throbbed. Her wrists were bound. She was freezing. The surface beneath her was hard metal. The air around her was biting cold. Slowly, she realized she was inside a commercial freezer. The last thing she remembered was getting into Marcus' car. He had offered to show her a recording studio space he was setting up. She trusted him. She never expected the syringe. She screamed. No one heard. The walls were soundproofed. Her hands were zip-tied. The only light came from a sliver through the broken seal of the freezer door. No food. No water. Just the cold. The temperature hovered around 20 degrees Fahrenheit -6 degrees Celsius. Hypothermia was a constant threat. On day 2, she began hallucinating. On day 3, her lips cracked and bled. On day 4, she stopped crying. Her tears would freeze anyway. Lisa began scratching at the walls. Not to escape, just to move. To remind herself she was alive. She used her own blood to mark the days. 1 mark, then 2, then 3. She hummed childhood songs. She whispered her name, her mom's name, Monique's name. Anything to fight the silence. Back on the outside, detectives followed the only lead they had, traffic cameras. One camera showed Lisa getting into a silver sedan on the night she vanished. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Investigators searched local DMV records, identifying nearly 150 similar vehicles. One stood out. A sedan abandoned behind an old meatpacking warehouse in the outskirts of town. When they entered the warehouse, they found evidence of squatting. Mattresses, drug paraphernalia, old food containers. But in the back, the industrial freezer, locked from the outside. Officers pried open the freezer door. Inside, huddled in the corner, barely conscious, was Lisa Jennings. Frostbite covered her hands and feet. Her skin was blue. Her body temperature was dangerously low. She had survived 8 days with no food and almost no water. Her survival defied logic. EMTs rushed her to the hospital. She had suffered permanent nerve damage in 2 fingers and partial hearing loss due to the cold. But she was alive, and she remembered everything. With Lisa's testimony and a sketch artist's help, police tracked down the man behind the mask. His real name was Jerome Parks, a 38-year-old career criminal with a history of assault, abduction, and fraud. He had reinvented himself over a dozen times to lure women. In Lisa's case, he targeted someone kind, trusting, and community-minded. It was never about money. It was about control, dominance, power. Parks was arrested in another state under a new alias. He's currently serving a 60-year sentence without the possibility of parole. Lisa's recovery was long and